Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Bedford. Nick Anastas, Coach Chris Cameron with you. It's FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Back again as we head towards the finish line of the regular season. The final week of the 2023 campaign is upon us, which means a lot of tournament previews to get to and more interviews coming up over the next 75 or so minutes. We begin with Ken Blaska. 6:20 Eastern, the Timberlane head coach has got the Owls playing well, jockeying for a top 3 seed in Division II. We're going to see the Owls tomorrow night here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, when they take on red-hot Winnicott. 6:45, Tim Kiley will join us. The Bishop Girton Sr. is on his way to Sacred Heart. The Cardinals, of course, flying high after a big out-of-state win yesterday over BC High. Speaking of Bishop Girton, Lauren Redfern will join us at the top of hour number 2, the Bishop Girton Jr. on her way to Villanova. And, of course, the NCAA tournaments in full swing. Will bring you the latest Division I on the men's side. They have their Final Four all set up. We begin, as we always do, with a hello to Chris Cameron. Coach, how are you? Welcome back.
Good to see you again.
Your guys have the best record right now with a week to go in Division I. I guess that's as good a place to start as any. And, of course, a big week for your club last week. A 1-goal difference was all it was against St. John's of Danvers on Tuesday, one of the best teams in Massachusetts. You're on the wrong side there, but you follow up a couple days later with a big win over your in-state rival Pinkerton 16-6, and then you top everything off with a big comeback win yesterday in which your club rattles off 7 straight to put up 20 goals against BC High, who, according to Max Preps, was the top team in Massachusetts. So all in all, a good week for your Cardinals, and with a game against North and another out-of-state game against Acton Boxborough remaining on the schedule, it seems like, Coach, your guys are in a good spot potentially to end up yet again as the top seed in Division I.
Yeah, it was. It was probably one of the most challenging weeks we ever had, which is exciting to have St. John's Prep, the defending Massachusetts state champion, Pinkerton, and the number 14 team in the country, BC High.
And Pinkerton had been hot.
Pinkerton hot. Yeah, they were Joe Marshallina's poll came out. Hampshire High School Sports, they're number 2 in the state. So they're good. Against St. John's Prep, we played good, not great. But against Pinkerton, other than a 3-minute stretch, we played very, very well. That was what we were looking for all year. We kind of turned that page. And even though we were down 6-2 against BC High, I felt like we were playing well. Once we settled down on defense and clearing the ball, our offense is prolific. I mean, we could score whenever we have the ball. Yesterday was the first time all year that we went below 50-50 on faceoffs. We lost the faceoff battle 21-17. Going into Pinkerton, I thought that was their big advantage going against Cole Frank, where he was going to, I was hoping to get 30%, but we might have won like 22-26. I think we beat him 14-12 face-off-wise, so which was good. We used a 2-headed monster. I think we wore him down a little bit with Noah Zeman and Paulo Vasquez. So we that was part of you mentioned the 7-0 run. We started winning face-offs in the fourth quarter. We had the ball for, I think we had not held the ball, but we had possession for 9 of the 12 minutes in that fourth quarter because we won face-offs.
Yeah, I mentioned on the air, and by the way, that game is up on our video section on the YouTube channel FNLNH Media. I mentioned during the postgame that I thought Zeman was one of the unheralded, unsung heroes, so to speak, of yesterday. It seemed like once he got in there, started getting those face-off wins, that allowed the momentum, as you said, to continue into that fourth quarter. How big has he been? He's a senior on his way to Riviera. We talk a lot about Vasquez, the sophomore, but it seems like he's becoming more and more integral to your team's success.
Yeah, the two of those guys have a great relationship with each other, where they work it out, like who's going, they basically take 2 at a time. They take 2 at a time. On the year, I think Paulo's taken about 12 more or maybe 14 more on the year than so it's definitely been, as I said, it's been a two-headed monster that we're throwing at them. Noah is relatively new to facing off, where he didn't really start facing off until maybe a sophomore year in high school. And he's just like
he's got a knack for it.
He's a rising star, and Coach Delanoy at Riv is very excited to get him because he's going to get in there and he's going to be their guy. He's going to take a lot of faceoffs because I think he's going to have a chance to be their number 1 guy freshman year.
And then, of course, we're going to talk with Tim Kiley coming up at 6:45. He seemed to get better yesterday as the game went on. 3 fourth-quarter goals to help seal the deal. He's going to Sacred Heart, and as you know, Coach, he comes, of course, from a lacrosse family with 2 older brothers and a younger sister coming up behind him at Bedford High.
Yep, he's moved from Ithaca, New York, so they were in that Cornell community where lacrosse it's
one of the hotbeds, right?
There, yeah. So his older brother Chris went to Siena. Siena made the NCAA tournament this year. Brother Michael was a starting D-midi for Colgate, and then Maddie, who might be the best of all of them, sophomore on that loaded Bedford High School team. Looks like they're going to probably be the 1 seed heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, speaking of the standings, we'll get to the girls in a moment, and we'll get to the lower divisions in a moment as well, but we'll stick with boys Division I. We mentioned your club is in the driver's seat for the top seed at 13-3, followed by Merrimack, 9-3, Bedford at 9-4. Exeter right now is in the 4 spot at 11-5. The Blue Hawks look pretty good earlier this week when we saw them take out Londonderry. Pinkerton tied with Exeter at 11-5. And there's your top 5. Londonderry and Salem are the 6 and 7 spot right now, and 8, I guess, is up for grabs. So what do you see here, Coach, over the final week in Division I?
So I think 7, 8, there's 4 teams for 2 spots. You have Dover, Salem, Concord, and North. You have 4 of those are going to be that.
And, of course, only 8 make it in Division I.
Be in that 7-8 seed.
Yep.
I think BG, we're locked in as the 1 seed. And then Exeter's probably that 2 seed. And then Pinkerton. So the games that have a lot of impact, other than those 4 teams that we mentioned fighting for that 7-8, but for top 5 seeds, Merrimack Bedford playing at 6:30 tonight is going to have an impact.
Yep.
And then the Bedford Pinkerton game, Bedford at Pinkerton, which is an FNL game on Friday night, will determine that 3 seed. So the loser of that game will be in the 4-5 game with Merrimack, assuming Bedford wins tonight, and then the winner of that game will be in the semifinal, the 2-3 bracket with Exeter. Mm-hmm. And Londonderry seems to be locked into that 6, and you know, a much improved Londonderry team right now. They beat Portsmouth, took Pinkerton in overtime. 8-6. They lost to Exeter.
It seemed like they ran out of time against Exeter, but they gave them a fight.
Yeah,
and you heard it, folks, from Coach's mouth. That Friday game. It's a lot on the line. Bedford at Pinkerton. We got the green light from Coach O'Reilly yesterday. We will be there for a 5 o'clock start. That's also senior day in Derry, so pencil that one in. In Division II, again, it's Derryfield and Portsmouth tied atop the standings. Both teams are 14-1. Of course, Portsmouth beat the Cougars a little over a week ago, so I guess they own the tiebreaker, correct?
It looks like both teams are going to be 16-1. Looks like
if they both win out.
They're going to win out.
Right.
Portsmouth will have the 1 seed, which is kind of important because, I mean, it looks like Derryfield will be the 2, Timberlane will be that 3, but, you know, 9 wins in a row for Winnicott, so that's going to be a good game tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to get there. Timberlane is
take away your
well, Timberlane's right there at 12-2. I guess maybe an outside shot if something unforeseen happens to either Derryfield or Portsmouth, but most likely Timberlane is the 3rd seed if they can win out. Wyndham is right behind them at 11-3. Winnicott, they started 0-3. They've won 9 in a row. That's good enough for 5th place right now at 9-3. St. Thomas, a hair behind them at 9-4. Hollis Brookline's got 9 wins. They're 9-6. And Souhegan is there at 8-5 as well. This is shaping up, Coach, to be what most likely is going to be a pretty competitive quarterfinal round in Division II.
Yeah, outside of the 1-2. Like the 3-6 and the 4-5 games are going to be very competitive. You know, you don't want to play Portsmouth. You don't want to play Derryfield. The interesting thing is Portsmouth beat Derryfield. That 1 goal was a
9-8.
Great game to watch, great broadcast. But Derryfield has had that game, and then they had the Westwood 1-goal game. Everything else has been a complete blowout. They've just manhandled teams. I mean, St. Thomas was 12-6, so that you consider that was a competitive game. But Portsmouth has been in, even though they beat Derryfield, they've been in a lot of tight games, a lot more tight games. They lost to Londonderry. They've had a more competitive schedule, more competitive games. The schedules are very comparable to each other. So, you know, that the team that usually gets tested more is at an advantage going into the playoffs. That's one thing to watch out for Derryfield. But I think that when they put out their 6 guys, they're really good. I mean, I don't know if they played their best against Portsmouth. A great win for Coach Vischer and Coach Balter and the Clippers, because that's, to beat Derryfield is a great win. But it's just interesting the way. But we predicted that in the opening show that it's going to be 1-2 Portsmouth Derryfield, and then it's Timberlane, it's St. Thomas, it's Wyndham, it's Hollis Brookline. So that's kind of foreseen. But can anyone catch those first two? And the way the seedings are, those two are not going to meet in the semis. They'll be, if they meet, it will be in the championship.
Yeah. Again, Timberlane seems like they may be the dark horse. We'll have Owls head coach Ken Blaska coming up in about 8 minutes or so. Stick with the boys. We'll go down to Division III. We don't give them enough love, according to some, so we're going to sit right now on the standings. Bo, the lone unbeaten at 13-0.
Yeah.
They seem like the favorite. Campbell behind them, perennially tough at 12-2. Then you got Pelham at 9-3, Plymouth at 10-4, Cole Brown making noise at 9-5, and then last year's championship game participants, Laconia and Hopkinton, are right there in that 5-loss mix as well. The Sachems 9-5, Hopkinton at 8-5. So again, Bo, the clear front runner. After that, starts to get a little murky in Division III.
I think we're going to see some upsets in Division III. I mean, there's a lot of teams, like you mentioned, Laconia. You mentioned Hopkinton, you mentioned Cole Brown. Those teams can get upsets in the first round. Usually, you don't see that in Division I and Division II. It's usually chalk. Coach Calkins, the son of legendary coach at SNU, Paul Calkins.
Yep.
So he's doing a first year, doing a great job, undefeated. Campbell did give him a game. Campbell, Coach Knight. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're good. They got some guys. Lucas Craig can win faceoffs, and they're solid, so they can play with them. Pelham, first-year head coach at Pelham, they're sitting at 9-3. They're in the mix.
He inherited a program there,
they have some
no real
athletes.
surprise.
They have some real athletes there. And then we said Cole Brown. We said Hopkinton. Bishop Brady. Bishop Brady played Hopkinton to a 10-8 game yesterday. I mean. So Frank Lamparelli, what he's doing with that program, they had at one point they had like 15 kids. Now he's got the numbers up, and to be able to compete with Hopkinton, in a game like that, he's got a guy Tucker Townsend, just kid that's going to UNE winning faceoff. So there's a lot. There's more talent in Division III than there's been, but there's also a lot of parity. I mean, Bo is undefeated, but it's not like a Derryfield, Portsmouth undefeated, where there's teams that can play with them.
Not a complete runaway,
yeah.
Right? All right. On the girls' side, again, Lauren Redfern will be our guest at 7 Eastern. The BG Junior on her way to Villanova. Bedford right now is in the driver's seat with a week to go, 12-1. The Bulldogs' lone out-of-state loss came out of state. Sorry, their lone loss was out of state, and that came earlier this month. Dover finally slowed down, but they're still right in the mix at 12-2, a half game behind the Bulldogs. Same thing with Portsmouth. And then South at 11-4, BG at 10-4. They may be the ultimate dark horse as the defending champ there right now in the 5 spot. Pinkerton, always tough at 10-5, right behind them. And Souhegan above 500 as well at 7-5.
So you're seeing there some teams that play tougher out of conference schedule, where BG, they have a tough Franklin team tomorrow. They could be a 4-5 seed. And that, which is dangerous. With Dover, Dover's been, not to take anything away from them. The girls work hard. They're improving. They're getting more and more competitive. 12-2 is a great season,
right?
But against BG, I think they lost by maybe 8-9 goals. So they're not. So they'll be a 2 or 3 seed, along with South. South looks like they might be a 4 seed, where head to head against the top 3 teams, those teams are not there. Like the top 3 are still, even though the standings show different, it's Bedford, Portsmouth, BG that are the top 3 teams. But you're going to see you might see some crazy matchups there, because I mentioned you have Pinkerton's probably, what is Pinkerton sitting at?
Pinkerton right now is in the 6th spot.
The 6th spot.
Another dangerous team.
That's a dangerous team for a
6.
Yeah. So there's a lot more depth in Division I. I mean, you have the top 3. But good seasons by Souhegan, good seasons by Dover.
And I don't know if that was necessarily the case a few years ago.
No,
right? It seems like that top half of the division is starting to fill out a little bit.
You had Pinkerton, you had BG, you had Bedford, and you had Souhegan. And then there was a huge drop off. Now Souhegan's kind of been caught by the pack a little bit, and And then you've had some teams come up from South and Dover, which is great.
We didn't even mention Londonderry, who's usually pretty good. So.
Londonderry's down a little bit this year. Coach
but
Kelsey Durhack.
Traditionally, they're pretty good.
They're good, but they're down a little bit. They have a new coach. You'll see them slowly through the years get better and better and better with her.
All right, we're going to take a break. Then we're going to preview tomorrow night's battle on the beach. Timberlane at Red Hot Winnicott. We come your way at 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. The man on the visiting sideline will join us next. That is Ken Blaska of Timberlane, one of our favorite interviews that we'll do all season. He is next. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
It's FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas along with Coach Cameron. We've got Tim Kiley of BG coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Lauren Redfern ushers in hour number 2 at 7 o'clock Eastern. The BG Junior on her way to Villanova. And then we wrap up the show with some NCAA talk. Programming note, tomorrow we are on the beach. Winnicott playing host to Timberlane. Warriors gunning for their 10th straight win. Timberlane trying to keep pace in the 3 spot in the standings with a week remaining in the regular season. Again, we're live at 6 Eastern tomorrow night. Timberlane at Winnicott. Now our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week presented by Beals Insurance. And, of course, we've got you covered on Friday as well. Bedford at Pinkerton. That's the final game of the regular season statewide. And Bedford and Pinkerton likely battling for playoff positioning. Potentially the winner could get the 3 seed there in Division 1. So that's a big, big game. And we'll be on the ground for Senior Day at 5 o'clock. Again, Friday, Bedford at Pinkerton. Joining us now to help preview tomorrow's Timberlane at Winnicott matchup is the Owls head coach, Ken Blaska. And he's back on the program. We appreciate you coming on, Coach. How are you?
Doing awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Appreciate it. Always good when there's another bald guy on the screen. It takes a little eyes off me, so I like that. Coach, your guys have been flying high really all year. You got, 2 losses in the loss column, 12-2. Yes, overall, the right now third best record in Division 2. And it seems like you've got a fun group of kids on your hand as well. We spoke with your goaltender, Brady Marston. He seems like he's kind of all business, but I know that can't quite be the case. He's got to have some fun there. And that defense, right, is full of veterans that like to play physical. This seems like, Coach, your team may have the DNA to make another deep push in next week's tournament.
We were talking about it today. I was telling them how, they got to feel that something special reverberating inside of us that we want to take it up a notch, make that playoff push. And to be honest, it starts tomorrow. That's the way we kind of look at it. Every game right here on out, it's a playoff game and just got to keep going. But on a side note for my boy, Brady Marston, I just want to say, Brady, your mom does a great job. Just want to make sure you say thank you to your mom. Little inside joke for Brady.
He's one of the best in the business, Coach. He's been doing it now for a long time, right? A 3-year starter for you. Does this team go as far as he brings them?
I think we've been talking a lot about we score, we ride, we clear, we make saves. We defend. It's the we. And Brady is very good. He's a huge part of a lot of the things that we look to do. But when the opponent gets the ball, we're all on defense. We need to get it back, no matter where it is. And I think we have a really good crew that understands that. We ride hard. We get a lot of turnovers because of it. And we like to create chaos and rule the chaos. That's the plan. Right? Push the ball, push the tempo.
Right. It seems like, Coach, this group has been through a lot over the last 3 seasons. Of course, we know about the COVID-19 situation that canceled the season in 2020. Your guys respond in 21 by making a somewhat unexpected run all the way to the Division II championship round. You backed that up last year with another deep playoff push and again seem primed for another run this year. How many strides forward has this program made under your watch over the last 3 or so seasons?
We were talking about it even, today I was mentioning to the guys, we haven't beaten Winnicott since my first year here 8 years ago, and it's time to get these seniors a little motivation here. It's one of those things where we've come a long way in 8 years. And I would definitely make a huge argument that since we came out of COVID, we've kind of made a name for ourselves in a good way. We play hard, we play physical, ground balls, ride, clear, all those little special team important parts of the game. And I think we're doing some good things out there. And every year we've kind of changed a little bit, but I think our identity of just being Timberlane tough has always been a huge part of what we need to do.
So, Coach, looking at your scores, for a team that likes to create chaos and play that way, you don't give up a lot of goals. I mean, so do you play? Are you a up and down? Do you run and gun type style play?
Well, I'm a big believer in make high school kids have to have their synapses fire fast, and usually you can catch them off guard a little bit. But we've actually done a really good job of controlling the ball. But I just believe in ride hard, get the ball back, press the odd man situations whenever we can. Defensively, just go to our matchups. Just don't overthink it. The best defense is one-on-one defense. Don't get beat.
Now, what did you learn from the Derryfield game?
Let me tell you. Hey, I keep saying it talks about it. I think they just scored again today. That was it was we went into their place last year unexpected, and we surprised them, and that was good. And they were ready. They were beyond ready. Hetler was calling out everything and everything. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I could tell right off the bat. What we talked about is just anomalies. We have our line of which we're producing here, and now you have one of those that are out there, and that happens. High school kids are still high school kids. So, we put it behind us, and we just have to worry about us sometimes, and maybe, not worry about who's covering who's got what are they going to do here? What's their move? What's their strength? And just be like, okay, let's just worry about what we want to do. And I try to talk about imposing our brand of lacrosse on our opponent. That's where we'll be good when it's us.
So I don't know your roster that well, but one of our players, Michael Savage, who's going to be a D-midi for us this summer, what kind of season is he having? What kind of role has he been with your team?
He's doing well. His sophomore, he's had a lot more time. He had a wacky freshman year starting with us too, because he basically played with like a broken back throughout most of the freshman year. We have him all over the place. Face-offs, D-midi, offense. I throw him at attack when I need him. So he's a big part, of what we need to do. Tomorrow, he's going to be a huge part of what we need. He's a good player. He's a great young man too. Obviously, I've known coached him for a long time, coached his brother. I can't say enough about guys like him.
Yeah, no, he's worked extremely hard to get to where he's at.
Yeah.
Coach mentioned the Derryfield loss. You must be pleased, Coach, with how quickly your team was able to put that behind them, right, and rattle off 4 straight. You've been unbeaten ever since.
Yeah, it's good to win. And it's the cure for all problems, right? Get a W and everything looks good. But
that's right.
I think right now, all coaches right now understand that this is the toughest time. All the problems, all the extra fanfare of the end of the school year. I'm like, guys, we got practice. We got stuff to do here. It's tough. It's tough to coach at this time, but it feels great. It's also the good time when things are going well and you got a good crew like we do. It just makes getting up, going to work that much easier. And then, when we're game planning, they're bought in.
Yeah. Coach, how much do you rely on the players themselves, some of those leaders in the locker room, to kind of police the team during this, I don't know if turbulent time is the appropriate
I don't trust him at all.
You know what I mean, right? Who are some of those liaisons, so to speak, that represent the players on and off the field for you?
It's funny, we've had a good culture here at Timberlane for a few years, now. The guys get it. They understand what it takes, Got great leaders, obviously, Brady, but then you got Gary, Shivel, Harris, Manning, Logan on defense, Bowman, Condon. I had a bunch of guys, just good dudes. And, I'll go through the wall for them. I'm just so proud of them for the type of men that they've become. Something that we talk about a lot, about this game, this sport, what it offers, how to create boys to men. And that's what it's about. Decisions that you have to make on and off the field, in class. I think these guys, I'm so proud of them.
All right, let's talk a little brass tacks. Tomorrow night, Winnicott is red hot on the other side. Of course, they started the season 0-3 and have turned it around ever since. 9 in a row. Your club, of course, at 12-2 without giving up the entire game plan. Coach, what needs to go well tomorrow night to get a road win at Winnicott?
We're going to score a lot of goals and don't give up a lot. Like, that's the plan. You got to understand, too, that Winnicott at the beginning of the season, they went right into the gauntlet, and they were coming on. They graduated a lot, so they didn't have a chance to really get themselves ready. So as soon as they were able to right the ship, it was just a matter of time that we all knew, and a lot of us know, Coach Snow's, he's good. It was just a matter of time for him to just get those guys bought into what they need to do, get the reps, get the looks, get the film that they can go, and then all of a sudden, they're a tough team. We know what they're going to do, and they know what we're going to do. I think it just comes down to, reaching in your gut and grabbing a little intestinal fortitude and getting after it. A little Division II, end of the year matchup. And we're hoping that we come out on top. That's the way I'm drawing it up.
Love it, Coach. We're going to have to hire you to start writing our promos because that's some good stuff to get us amped up for sure. We appreciate the time tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night in Hampton, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thanks again for coming on, Coach.
Thank you very much. Just want to say, once again, all my family out there, thank you very much. And obviously the parents of my players, you guys are the best. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Coach. There he is, the head coach of the Timberlane Owls, Ken Blaska. A guy who seems dripping with energy, right? A good player's coach, and seemingly a great guy to have in your corner overall.
Yeah, he brings the energy, brings the fire. You get the sense that he really likes his team this year, and he's just trying to. I didn't realize it. How many years did he say? Is it 8 years they haven't beat Winnicott?
Yeah.
I mean that. So this
is another storyline right there.
This is a big matchup. I mean, playoff seedings aside, just having two real high quality teams going after it's going to be a smash mouth type game. I mean, there's going to be some ground. You're going to hear some. You're going to hear some banging,
some popping.
When there's some ground balls.
We like that. We'll be on the air at 6 o'clock with the opening face-off. On the air a little earlier with the pregame at about 5:50 tomorrow night. Timberlane at Winnicott. And then, of course, on Friday, the second part of our Game of the Week schedule, Bedford at Pinkerton. That's 5 o'clock on Friday. And as Coach said, he's got a lot of veterans on there, right? A lot of guys, multi-year starters, obviously a 3-year starter in Cage. I'd imagine, Coach, with some of these veteran groups over the years, I'm sure you've encountered it, you can rely on some of those leaders in the locker room, right? Coach touched on it a little bit. With all that's going on, the graduations, the proms, the finals, which I think gets overlooked sometimes. We talk about it seemingly weekly on this show. It can be distracting for players and coaches, and it's good to have some of those senior leaders to kind of police things on behalf of the coaches. It sounds
like he's got a bunch of them. I mean, it sounds like he's got leadership from and it's a program now where it's just passed on from team to team. And I remember in 2021, the state championship at Bedford, we finished our game, and the Timberlane fan base was rolling in. I mean, so it's a school that supports their athletics, but their lacrosse team especially.
Yeah.
I mean they.
Football too. They turn on Friday nights.
They turn out. Yeah. So they, it's a tight knit, great
community
to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it again tomorrow night. Timberlane at Winnicott at 6 o'clock. All right, we take a break. On the other side, Tim Kiley. That should be a familiar name by now. The BG senior has been very good for the Cardinals for a long time. He's going to join us for the first time on the other side of the break. The Sacred Heart commit is going to provide some good stuff, I have a feeling, on the other side. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited, Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
back here in the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. Nick Anastas along with Coach Chris Cameron. It's FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. If you missed any part of the show, including our interview with Timberlane head coach Ken Blaska, don't worry. It'll be archived on our YouTube channel immediately following the broadcast. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. We've got Lauren Redfern of Bishop Girton coming up. The junior is on her way to Villanova. She is our Tomahawks Player of the Week on the girls' side. We conclude the show with NCAA talk. But right now, the Tomahawk Player of the Week on the boys' side is Tim Kiley. And the BG senior joins us right now from his home in Bedford. Tim, how are you, my friend? Great game yesterday. Congratulations on the win over BC High. How are you tonight?
Thank you. I'm doing great tonight. How are you?
We're good. Take us back less than 24 hours ago. Obviously, it was one of the bigger games of the season for your club. Another high-powered, out-of-state opponent. A Sunday afternoon, 70 degrees, a lot of fanfare, and your guys fell behind right away, 6-2. At that point, though, you dominated the next 3.5 or so quarters. What was the key in your mind to that come-from-behind victory yesterday over potentially one of the best teams in Massachusetts in BC High?
I feel like throughout the whole year, we've just known that, like, on offense, once we get the ball, we can score every single time when we take good shots and take care of the ball. And on the clearing game, I feel like that we, like, slowed it down a lot more and focused on making the right play and pass and using our athleticism, like, as an advantage too.
Yeah, that seemed like the case. Your game seems like it's crafted around getting maybe others involved. You mentioned making the right play yesterday. It seems like that's part of your repertoire. How would you describe your game? Are you a playmaker? Do you look to get other guys involved, or is that just second fiddle to when you can't get a shot of your own?
Well, first off, I like trying to initiate the offense by using my speed to get by my guy, and then moving the ball really quickly to another player so we can get the motion going. And I just feel like finding open guy is always the right thing to do, because you can always give up a good shot for a better shot, and we've talked about this as a team for a lot this year.
I bet that makes you popular in the locker room as well, right? Always good to play with a guy like that, an unselfish guy. Tell me a little bit about that locker room, right? This seems like, again, a special group of seniors at Bishop Girton. You and your classmates have played a lot of lacrosse together, a lot of meaningful lacrosse over the last few years. What are some of the bonds with those guys like, the other classmates there, seniors here in 2023?
So I think we have around plus over 20 seniors. So obviously we're really a big class, and all of us play other sports with each other. Like I play hockey with a bunch of other kids. And I know a couple kids play football together, and we just use those connections to bring the whole team together and make the best out of just playing to get lacrosse together. And we just try to have fun with everything. Like after games, we'll all just maybe just go out and get food. And a lot of us work for Coach Cameron at Tomahawk, so we're always during the spring we're spending so much time with each other. And it really helps with the bonding inside the locker room.
I didn't realize that, Coach. You put him to work early for you, huh?
Oh, yeah. We got the younger kids, the youth kids look up to these high school players and going on to college. So
yeah, what's that like, Tim, having some of these BG alums, some of these NCAA players come back late in the season and give your team a boost on the sideline? What's that like hanging around guys like Brian and Sean Cameron, some of the other returnees that have come back over the years?
It's actually nice because when Sean and Brian come back every year, we always expect some new wrinkles in the offense. And actually our first goal yesterday was a play that Sean brought back from Princeton for us. And it's it gives us more options, and we can expect what we're going to learn in college, with the new styles of plays and stuff. But Brian and Sean always have good tips for you, especially as on the offensive side of the ball, and they're always there to make you better, which is great.
And his brother Michael, who's a starting D mini for Colgate's been back working with the D guys.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
He gave us some, which is great to have him back. So, Timmy, I know you put that Yankee thing so we could see it in the background just for me.
Yep.
we gotta keep that quiet though. So you've had quite the career, quite the year. Nick and I were talking just before about the Hingham games. Your senior year starts out with triple overtime game winner. Returning All-American as a junior, heading to Sacred Heart. So, and then a few things happened yesterday that I'll ask them both, and you could talk about it. So, Mr. King from the Telegraph says he likes you on skates better, and I said no, I like him on the I like him on the lacrosse field. But at some point during the game, you came off the field. You said to me, Coach, I think I really like my chances are inverting, right? So
yes.
You went on to score 3 goals on the invert, but what did you see that I didn't? What did you know that gave you the what's the word I'm looking for? But the foresight to think that you can invert and score a fourth quarter hattie.
Well, I obviously I've been working with the attack a lot in practice, and I've become more comfortable turning the corner with the guys on my hands, and I just feel like. But being behind the net, I can use my change of direction and speed to look for slide guys, and also use that what you Nick talked about was unselfishness to also distribute the ball. But on a couple of my goals, the goalie was trying to direct the defense, and I saw him turn his head twice. So I just went into a full out sprint right to the goal, and I just trusted my legs right there.
Yeah, that's one thing. He's not scared to turn the corner. I mean, 2 steps to glory. Tim will take a hit. He's as tough as they get.
Yeah, it seems like it, Tim. I mean, seemingly you're one of the smaller players on the field, no matter who the opponent, and yet you produce as if you're one of the bigger. Where did that sense of fearlessness come from? And the physical part of the game, I'd imagine, may have been borrowed from the hockey rink. But you tell me, how have you been able to mix it up, so to speak, with some of these giants week in and week out?
So obviously I have 2 older brothers. So when I was always growing up playing either lacrosse, hockey, or just anything in general, our family is really competitive, and none of us really like to lose. So I would always get the lesser half of most of the games, and I would just learn how to fight against those 2, and I would keep trying to beat them constantly throughout my whole life. And our games would in the backyard, they would get physical, they would use their strength to push me around, and I just went back down. And I feel that helped me a lot with hockey this year. Is I was not afraid to go into the corners, and it's the same thing when I'm going against a 6'5" long pole. I can trust myself that I've taken such a beating through kids that are bigger than me and older than me that I can get around them.
It's always the younger brothers who are the toughest, right?
Now, Timmy, did your mom was getting pressure from Maddie to leave for Taylor Swift by 1:00, and was your mom able to watch the whole game and see your performance in the fourth quarter?
I'm not sure about that.
You don't know? So she might have lost the battle. I hope she doesn't miss anything. So hopefully she was able to see you play.
Yeah.
Well,
thankfully,
Taylor Swift is
a tough ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Tim?
Thankfully, FNLNH was on the call, so hopefully she was watching it while on the way down. My sister,
there you go,
watching somewhere. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tim, tell me a little bit about Sacred Heart. Your commit. You're going to be heading there in the fall. What jumped out you, and what went into that decision to head down to Connecticut?
So, Coach Basti, he reached out to me almost right away in the recruiting process, and he always seemed like he really wanted me. He was a great guy. Also, Sacred Heart, it's been a college that's been on the uprising with the amount of renovations and things they've done to boost their academics and athletic programs. Also, it's right in the New York area. I obviously grew up there, and I have a lot of family down in Connecticut, and I'm just excited to get there this fall and start my next steps in my life.
Any clue what you're going to study, or not yet?
I'm thinking about political science or pre-law. I'm not sure yet, though. Something along those lines.
Good stuff. All right. We appreciate you jumping on. Tell your brothers we said hello. Tell Maddie we said hello as well. And good luck the rest of the way. Enjoy the rest of the senior year. And good luck here in the hunt for another ring. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Coach, I don't know if my mom had a big...
Oh, we got cut off there. Well, Timmy, what was that?
Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead. You're still on.
Say, my mom kind of had the same conflict you did with Taylor Swift, either the Celtics or
right.
Taylor Swift for
So
you,
for
and then BC High or the Taylor Swift for my mom.
Yeah,
Two
so
big
I asked the boys
Swift.
for what we do is we get the team out there, and I'll say, okay, everyone that has Princeton, everyone that has Rutgers, we kind of and take pictures, and they have to run sprints. So but I said, guys, this time it's a little bit different. Do I go to Taylor Swift? This is Friday night,
right?
Or stay home and watch the Celtics.
So you had tickets as well.
On Friday night.
Okay,
yes, Friday night.
Right,
I went, and it was an incredible show. I went with Judy.
Now, who's the fan? You or Judy?
Judy and Kristen are big fans.
Okay.
And I do like Taylor Swift.
Okay. All right.
Drew Bordeaux, the Bedford coach, is also a big Swiftie.
Okay.
So yes, I am a Taylor Swift fan. It was quite the performance. Tough conflict.
She had a good time, Tim?
I'm sure they had a great time.
Still haven't talked to them though.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Sometimes people are going. Yeah. So Tim, and as I have producer Beals in the background, I'm getting text that the goal that number 35 scored was a wacky goal. Emsing, the kid going to Tufts, made it on the. It is going on the Lacrosse. Oh, you knew that, Ben? Yeah, it's going on the Lacrosse Network. I knew it was when I saw that shot. I'm like, it was kind of weird. He didn't have to do that, but the kid was quite the player. I mean, Colin Rourke did a great job of him in the second half, but I mean, it was like out of nowhere, he just threw that backhander in there. But
yeah, that was on par with the one we saw from Exeter last year for sure.
So,
but
Timmy, what was more exciting, the Hingham game or the BC High game yesterday?
I think
tough one.
Obviously, like the Hingham game was triple overtimes, me scoring the game winner. It doesn't get any better than that. But I just feel like yesterday, like as a whole, our whole team, like from the starters all the way down to the end of the bench, everyone was like so amped up for the game, and just the energy of the whole day was great, and it was one of the most fun games that I've ever played.
I agree. It felt the same. It had like state championship type vibes. So
yeah.
Great job again.
Yeah.
Tim.
Good stuff on the field too. All right, Tim, we appreciate it. Thank you, and good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the night.
You too. Tim Kiley, senior at Bishop Curtin on his way to Sacred Heart. He's a Yankee fan, apparently.
Well, he's from New York.
He's from New York.
He's from Ithaca.
That's excusable.
Yeah.
And obviously a very good lacrosse player, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how big he is, he's going to get his numbers, and he's going to help his team.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're undersized, you have to prove yourself over and over again. You know, to me, it didn't take that long. I could see right away he can play. You know, so I'm big on kids that can play. You know, I don't care how big, how little, whatever, you play. But from the college coaching standpoint, you know, very similar to Cody Marquis, who was my offensive coordinator at BG, smaller, went to Sacred Heart. He had to keep doing it over and over again for college coaches to convince themselves. But every time Timmy's out there, he's the toughest guy out there.
Can't argue it.
He's the toughest guy out there. And it was interesting to see the backstory to that. But yeah, he just produces. He produces, and he has a love to compete, love for the game.
And that's a good fit for Sacred Heart, right?
Oh yeah. He'll have an opportunity to play right away, whether it's at midfield or attack. It's a very good fit for him. And sounds like we might have a future lawyer.
Yeah.
If I'm reading between the lines.
Yeah. Yeah, we need as many good lawyers as we can get. All right, Lauren Redfern is our next guest. She joins us in about 3 minutes as we welcome in hour number 2, the BG Junior, already committed to Villanova. And the Cardinals looking to defend their title possibly as one of the lower seeds for the first time in a while. We'll ask her about all of that next. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited, Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, along with Coach Chris Cameron, here in the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. We're live here every Monday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, from now until the end of the regular season. Of course, we're online on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Hit the subscribe button and do us and yourself a favor. Let's welcome in our New Hampshire Tomahawks Player of the Week on the girls' side. That is Lauren Redfern, the BG Junior, on her way to Villanova. She joins us now from her home in Bedford. Good evening, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It looks like you got the cool spot to do the interview. I'll tell you that. A gorgeous backyard. Thanks for coming on. Your team, the defending champions in Division I, and right back in the hunt yet again this season at 10-4 overall. Not quite as dominant as a year ago, but still successful. What's been the key to that success in your mind?
I feel like for this year especially, it's a growing year, and we have to start with the basics again, grow the team back up. So just moving people around in practice, getting everyone involved this year is really key to growing the depth of the team again. And just having that attitude and energy that we had last year and just continuing that throughout the rest of the years here at BG.
You're a junior, not quite a senior, but still one of the upperclassmen, one of the leaders in the locker room. What exactly is your role? How would you describe it?
I feel like for me, being the only lefty on the team, I feel like I have a big attacking role. A lot of times I'll go on the circle or midfield, because freshman year I did a lot of more midfield focused stuff. But a lot of the attacking, I feel like I love to feed. I love to help my teammates out and make them look good for us to succeed. So that's a big part in what I like to do. And then also just driving to force those goals and get ahead is always important, especially in big games.
You feel like you have an advantage being a lefty?
I feel like sometimes yes, but other times I feel like it's more oh, she's a lefty, oh, we know where she's going to go. So it's kind of you stick out more, but I feel like it's easier to feed from the left side because it's not really used much in the game, especially that left crease side.
Tell me a little bit about these BG practices with Coach Y. It seems like, again, you guys are a good group of players, a fun group to coach. We've asked her about that before, and she mentioned some of the ways to keep it engaging and keep it fun at the same time. Are there any activities, any things out of the ordinary, so to speak, to keep it kind of light at practice that have made things easier for you and your teammates?
In the beginning, we tend to do a lot of stick work drills. So we do chaos passing, which is just passing lines that cross each other. So we try to change up our stick work every day, which is new. So it's not as stationary and basic as it has been in the past. So changing that up is good, just to have people bring more energy to it and getting to explain it to new people. It keeps us always wanting to learn more and stuff like that. And then we do a lot of transition drills that are man up at some points, and then it goes into settled. So that's a lot of fun-filled energy stuff. So that's really important too, to get game-like situations and have a fun aspect.
Chaos passing. Sounds like something out of Coach Blaska's playbook, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, Leslie's got some drills. She's got some drills.
I bet. So. Yeah, what is it like playing for Coach Y? She seems like, as you mentioned, a fun coach to play for, but yet has that pedigree, that serious championship building pedigree as well. What is your relationship like with Coach Y?
I love her. She's an amazing coach the past 3 years of me being on the team. I feel like she kind of took me in as usually I feel like freshmen, they're kind of oh, you're the freshman, these are your roles. But I feel like the way she took the group of us freshmen in was really important and special to me, because she's been a wonderful coach, and she always just has the best energy, and she's so supportive of us, but she also knows when to tell us to do something and speaks up when we need to work hard. It's just the energy she brings is really important, especially to the team atmosphere. I feel like that brings us together, just having a coach like her.
Yep. So, Lauren, tell us, before we get into the recruiting and how you chose Villanova, play Franklin tomorrow. What should we expect from Franklin? It's not a
they're-
team that I'm not familiar with.
That's out of state, right?
It's out of state. It's Franklin, Mass.
Yeah. Yeah. They're a good team. It's going to be a tough game, but I feel like practice today went well, and I'm confident with where we're at right now. And I feel like it's just going to come down to who wants it more, because they're another like competitive team. Like we've had Westwood, out of state, we've had Moses Brown, which were really good games for us, just like improving wise and making us better as a team. So I feel like this game will really be a good one to end the season on, like to show where we stand for playoffs coming up.
What alumni have you had back to help out at practices so far?
We have Lindsay Holt, Mimi Piercy, which are really helpful in the coaching aspect, especially for defensive wise. That's been like kind of a weaker point at the beginning of the season, but now with like insight from Lindsay especially, she's really stepped up and helped us there. And we also have Steph back, so that's really cool too for the attacking side. Also Delaney too.
Oh, Delaney. All right. So they got the crew coming back. So now for all of our viewers out there, September 1st of a player's junior year is when the recruiting process can start. And you were as busy, if not the busiest we've ever had on 9/1, where you had to handle and manage all these calls. You and Callie it was a full-time job. So how did you ultimately settle in on Villanova with all of the visits that you made and all the great options that you had? What was it that stood out?
Well, Villanova was always like a top option for me just because of the school itself. I wanted a higher academic school where I could succeed like academically while also playing lacrosse. So that was always like a top option for me. So when they reached out September 1st, I like already knew that was one of my favorite options that I had. I also had done a camp there that summer prior. So I got to know the school, and as soon as I went there, I loved it, and I loved the coaches, and I got to work with them. Like, we did scrimmages, and one of the coaches, the Villanova coaches, was the coach for my scrimmage team, and I loved her. It's such a young coaching staff, so I love the atmosphere of that coaching staff too. That's really important to me. And like seeing the team play together is just like everyone is so energetic and they're supporting each other. So that was like one of the biggest pieces of like why I wanted to go to that school. And like when they reached out, I was like, yeah, I want to go visit.
All right, Lauren, I'm going to ask you to put on your coach's cap for a moment. What needs to go well the rest of the way, not just in the regular season, but in the upcoming tournament as well? What has to happen for you guys to win the championship yet again?
I feel like for our team this year, just consistency is really important. We tend to start out the games like coming out, we're ready, we're hot, we're like everyone's focused. But as soon as we start to get down on ourselves or like get down in the game, because it's not the same as last year, I feel like that's when we kind of run into like a slump of like getting harder on ourselves and not really focusing. So I feel like consistency and keeping our heads up and just like being like, oh, I got this next ground ball or draw control or something like that is really important just to bring each other up and also like keep the team moving together.
All right, final question, and maybe the most important one. Did you play Assassins this year, and if so, are you still alive?
No, she's a junior.
No.
Oh, it's restricted to seniors only.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's null and void then. All right, Lauren, appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll talk to you again down the road. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lauren Redfern, live from her home in Bedford. A very talented player, as we know, and a lefty to boot. Villanova seems like going to be getting a very talented player.
Yeah, so her freshman year, she was on the varsity, and I could just see watching how good she was. But they were so loaded, so much talent, where she didn't play that much. And then last year she had the opportunity. She had a breakout game in the championship game where she was on fire. I think she had 3, maybe 4 goals. This year, but then last year you had Riley Bouvier, Katie Campbell,
Steph Reap, right?
That were that where the focus was on them. This year, she is the focus. I mean, most teams when their game plan is going to be, where do we start? You got to stop Redfern. I mean, so she gets the
premier defender.
Yeah, and the game plan and everything is going to be geared around her. So she's doing a good job of getting everyone else involved. But you can't guard her one-on-one. She just she's got a little shake, a little burst to get to that goal, and she gets her teammates involved too.
And it seems like that's a commonality between our two players of the week, right? Tim Kiley and Lauren Redfern, looking to get others involved, taking that unselfish role, which obviously any successful team needs.
Very similar, where Lauren can play attack or midfield. Timmy, the same thing, can play attack or midfield.
Versatile.
Just versatile type players that are highly skilled, athletic, quick, and tough, and very have the respect of their teammates and their coaches.
We will see the Cardinals, I'm sure, in action in the upcoming tournament at some point. We'll be live a week from tomorrow on May the 30th in the preliminary round in Division I on the girls' side. So we've got a game of the week coming up for the tournament. It's just 8 days from now.
It's amazing
so
how quick the season goes.
Around,
we're in the last week, and here we go, playoffs.
It is around the corner for sure. All right, Coach, we'll end the program as we usually do with some NCAA talk. A couple of close games yesterday, another good overall weekend, and now we've got the Final Four set for next weekend in Division I.
So in Division II, St. A's lost to Mercyhurst by a goal. Right. Talking to Coach Coburn, it was just frustrating because it was a game they thought they were better. They could have won. Mercyhurst then goes and beats Lemoyne, undefeated Lemoyne. So Mercyhurst now is playing in the national championship against Lenore Rhyme. And then in Division III, at Tufts, it's crazy what they do to these athletes at Division III. They had them play a quarterfinal game on Saturday, and then a semifinal game on Sunday.
No.
Back-to-back days.
Wow.
Back-to-back days.
At the same spot?
Same spot. They played, but it was crazy.
That's tough.
That's
tough.
And Salisbury, no disrespect to Salisbury. Salisbury's in the national championship facing Tufts. Tufts beat RIT. RIT's been in the national championship, back-to-back champions. Yeah. But so it probably the top two teams met in the semis. But now, in Philly next week, it'll be Tufts the favorite over Salisbury. But Salisbury's
perennially tough, though.
Perennially tough. I think it was like 2005. Neither one of them has been in, I think, since 2000. Like, one of them's last appearance was 2015. The other was 2017. So it's been a while for those two teams. Division I, the chalk held up as far as the three ACCs. The ACCs are at an advantage right now because they're getting players that have that fifth year of eligibility, where the kids that they can't stay in an Ivy and play a fifth year, so they're getting the Ivy kids and they're getting a lot of kids. So Virginia picked up some kids, Duke picked up some kids, Notre Dame picked up 2 kids from Yale. So they were just better than everybody. Those 3 teams, Duke was the 1 seed, Virginia the 2 seed, Notre Dame the 3 seed. They were all year just a tick.
You've been saying that, yeah.
Above everybody. Last year, Maryland was just on a different level. I mean, it was harder to win a national championship last year when Princeton and Rutgers were both in there than it was this year because these 3 teams are good, but they're beatable. Like Duke beat Delaware by a goal. Virginia beat Georgetown by 2 goals, and then Notre Dame beat Hopkins by 3 goals. So they were competitive games, right, but those 3 teams held up. Princeton, we had our guys. Penn State beat a big comeback win over Princeton last week, so they advanced to the quarters. Army, which we had Dawson Clark and John Sullivan, two local kids playing, where Dawson had a huge goal. I think it was the 12th goal of the game against Maryland to tie the game up when West Point beat Maryland. And then, unfortunately, yesterday, Penn State beat West Point 10-9. So Penn State's that team. That fourth seed, they'll be playing Duke, and then Notre Dame and Virginia will be playing each other. It's interesting. I don't know what the exact number is, but it's like 18 out of 20 or 19 out of 21 that Duke has beaten Virginia the last times they played. I mean, that's a remarkable stat. The one time they did beat them was in 2019 when Virginia won the national championship. They knocked them out in the semis, and then Virginia seems to have Notre Dame's number, so anything can go. But the crowd at down in Annapolis at Marine Corps Stadium was 14,000 people for two quarterfinal games.
So are you going down again?
I am not going to go down this year.
Not this year.
Nope.
You finally get a year off.
I get a year. Unfortunately, I get a year off, but yeah, I'm going to stay local, and the broadcast is good, so I'm going to stay local and watch on TV.
And then what about on the ladies' side?
Ladies' side, we have the Cats, the Northwestern Wildcats, the 1 seed.
There you go.
They got challenged by Michigan in the first round. They do a little bit differently. It's like 29 teams make it. The first 3 get byes.
29?
Yeah, it's like there's a certain percentage that they use.
Okay.
So 3 teams get byes if you do the math, and then so that's on a Friday. Then on Sunday you're down to 16 teams because you have 13 games, 3 byes. Yeah. So it's 29. Then you're down at 16. So Northwestern beat Michigan by a goal. They survived. Then they wound up blowing out Loyola. And then you had the defending national champion UNC get beat at home 5-4. So Denver, who beat them, Denver gave up averaged 5 goals against per year. They play a backer zone.
Wow.
They play Northwestern and then our local team, BC Syracuse. So BC's won the ACC champ. They didn't have a great regular season, not a dominant regular season, but they got hot. They started playing better like they always do. Won the ACC championship. So it's Syracuse, BC, Northwestern, Denver.
So some traditional powers there.
Traditional powers,
sure.
and then some new team in there, which is great to see.
That's a good mix.
So yeah,
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah,
for
great
Kristen's sake.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
There.
So she might want. Well, no, but the
Northwestern.
girls are in North Carolina, so she might wind up going down. She's going to Taylor Swift at Gillette Stadium on Friday night.
Oh wow.
So, but she'll be rested up, ready to go for you on Tuesday. But what a great
big
slate!
Swift household.
Yeah, what a great slate for FNL
I could not
this week.
name one song. But
Oh, you couldn't name one song? Oh, come on. Come on.
Me. I'm more of that 90s hip hop, and it doesn't mix.
All Too Well doesn't mean anything to you?
Again. All right, Coach, what'd you take away here tonight? A lot of good interviews as usual. If you missed any of them, don't worry. They're up and archived under our video section at FNLNH Media. Ken Blaska from Timberlane, Tim Kiley, and Lauren Redfern from BG. What'd you take away from that?
I mean, I know both those two very well. Lauren also coaches for us on the girls' side, so she's just very classy, very smooth, and she's just that's the way she is, very low key and not going to brag about herself too much. But so a lot of it, their success. You asked her, what has to happen, but a lot of it, she's going to have big games in order. And Timmy, we had a great. The interview got better and better as it went on, but he's certainly a player I'm going to miss. When my AD called me today about senior night on Wednesday. So I said to him, he says to me, "Is this number right?" I go, what is the number? He says 25. I have 25 seniors.
Really?
25 seniors. I mean, I knew it was a big class because we have 55 on the roster. But
right.
25 seniors. So he's certainly a special player that we're going to miss, and he's done great things for us. And as Tom King said he's my favorite hockey player. He said so. But the other thing that came up was the Timberlane-Winnacunnet matchup. I mean, Timberlane hasn't beaten them in 8 years. That's exciting. I'm going to get home from practice, dial into that one.
That'll be fun.
And then Friday, a lot of Bedford. Drew Bordeaux has done an unbelievable job. Yeah. I mean, he's my pick right now. You're my pick for Coach of the Year. I mean, what he's done with that program in 1 year. I mean, they had Exeter on the ropes. They held us to 10 goals. So this
they've got a 5-1 lead over Merrimack right now. After one quarter.
I texted with Steve Gowdrill today, congratulating on a win over BC High, and I told him, I joked, I said good luck on Friday, but I'm taking the under in that game. I mean, that game I could see being like 5-4, 6-5, 7-6. I mean,
strap them up.
It's going to be physical. It's going to be a good game. So great week for FNL.
Yeah. Again,
thanks for the broadcast yesterday. I mean, that was the feedback I'm getting. It was just
my pleasure. Again, one of the better games we've called in a long time.
It was electric.
And again, it sets the stage for the final week of the regular season. Tomorrow night, we're on the Seacoast. Timberlane at Winnacunnet. Senior night for the Warriors as Winnacunnet looks for their 10th straight win. Timberlane trying to end all that with their 13th overall victory. We're on the air at about 5:50 tomorrow night in advance of that 6 o'clock face-off. And then on Friday, Bedford at Pinkerton. That's 5 o'clock. We'll get off the ground maybe a little after due to the senior night ceremonies, but our coverage begins Friday at about 4:50. Want to thank the sponsors, of course, the New Hampshire Tomahawks, Beals Insurance, New Hampshire iPhone Repair, the fine folks over at MG Sports Fundraising and Spectrum Marketing, and, of course, Roger Howe Real Estate. Want to thank the guests, Ken Blaska of Timberlane, Tim Kiley of Bishop Girton, and Lauren Redfern of Bishop Girton. Reminder, we'll be back on the air next Monday, 6 o'clock Eastern, with a playoff preview as we welcome in the state tournaments next week. All right, for our director, the man behind the curtain, that's Ben Beals, of course, and my co-host, Coach Chris Cameron. My name is Nick Anastas, saying so long. This has been FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks.